Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. I would love to introduce you to Ed Weber, who is the owner of Broad Street Brewing Company and Jericho Mountain Beef Company as well. Ed, welcome to Food
Hi,
Farms and Chefs.
I appreciate the invite. I'm excited.
We're excited too, especially when I was looking up, your beef company, like you're making American Wagyu beef, which I know is a whole long process. But, a brewery is also like something that we both, Gene and I, love. So why don't you let our listeners know how you got into it? Because this is not what you originally went to school for or what you did as a career. So I'm curious as to how it transpired that became not only a cattle ranch farmer but also a brewer.
Sure. My business partner and I, Brandon Wellington, we set out when the world went sideways a few years ago to um, rediscover ourselves and focus on things that we knew we loved. Brewing has always been a passion of his and mine, and it started 14 years ago in an apartment on Broad Street, making beer in Home Depot buckets, and maybe a little more sophisticated than that, but not much. The beef component started simultaneously when we took off with the real thought of the brewery, knowing that one of the largest issues of a brewery is what you do with all your spent grain, how to upcycle that, how to reuse it purposely. So the Wagyu cows are raised predominantly on spent brewer's grain. So it sort of completed this beautiful circle of life of beef and beer. And it also, if you know anything about cattle, one of the hardest things to make any money on is to feed them all the time. So when your feed is already free, basically, it certainly helps. And that's allowed us to really sort of run hard with both of these fun, exciting projects.
Now, when you, oh, sorry.
I just wanted to jump in and I laugh because Amherst, when you started off, you kind of like two things that necessarily don't go well together. And I'm like, wow, absolutely they do. One is the
No,
feed
no,
for the
no.
other. And we I love that because what a great intro to exactly what you do. And what a fabulous way to produce and help offset the costs of tremendous quality beef. So hats off to you there doing that as a agricultural college person and a brewer. Just what a wonderful combination.
It is, and it's tough to beat as far as what I know. I'll never go hungry or thirsty for. And the thing I'm hungry and thirsty for every day, we've got that covered anyway.
And just to be clear, the beef and beer go together really well. That's not actually what I was I'm always like 10 thoughts ahead. So in my head I was like, well, you were in real estate and that doesn't comprehend in my head, but that's where that was coming from. But when you say spent grain, what does that mean to our, for our
Sure.
listeners who don't know?
The primary ingredient in beer is malted barley, right? So after you have gone through the process of brewing, you've washed out about 50%, maybe a little better, of the nutritional content of malted barley. A cow is absolutely infatuated with what's left over. So I get the benefit of taking everything I need from barley, and then the cows get the benefit of finishing off the rest and returning it to the earth, as they do in large quantities every day. So the malting process, malting actually sort of allows the germ to release a lot of its sugars. We then break that down, wash out about 50-60% of the sugars, and then the balance of the nutritional content in the malted barley goes to the cows.
Sounds like a brilliant plan. And I
Yeah.
know and I know that sustainability, as Jean had mentioned, like sustainability is a key component in that. And I know that's one of the things that you kind of have looked out for from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like every other agricultural livestock product in the world, we don't get to set our own prices. So in order for us to be competitive in the marketplace, we got to find a niche, and this was one that we knew we could certainly take advantage of. You know.
Yes. And I'm sure Gene has more to offer, as far as insight is concerned, because he is also in a brewery. So he, has hands down, he's a chef and he brews beer now. So he can go hand to hand with you with that.
Well, I mean, there's so many different things I want to talk about, but first of all, have this taken off now to, you know, other clients that you're selling to, if you're selling to other microbreweries, or just, as you know, we all become friends in the microbrewery industry, you know, are you now getting additional barley and grains from other breweries as well? I mean, I do feel so often that so many small breweries just throw away a tremendous resource. And what a better way to help out, the world, help out the environment by passing that on.
Yeah, so we do pick up from a number of local microbrews right in our immediate area. Some closer to Newtown. So it's not something we've monetized. It's for us, it's a product that we need. So we just kind of pick it up for free, and they're happy to let it go. So otherwise, you're right, Eugene. It does usually end up in trash bags, unceremoniously dumped into landfills and allowed to go to waste. But larger breweries generally have it figured out. There's a pig farmer somewhere close by, or even chickens can take it. So they've generally figured out how to upcycle some of it. But cows are unique in the sense because they won't eat it if it's gone bad. So you've only got like 72 hours to work with it before you really also end up in the trash. So pigs don't care. Pigs doesn't care if it's growing mushrooms or eyes. They'll eat anything. So that's a different thing altogether.
That is very quick. That is very true. I know, living in Bucks County, being around farms, having gone to Delaware Valley, the entire process, the cows are one of those very few animals that have that palate where when something is starting to sour or go bad, they will not consume it. Whereas, pigs, it's quite the opposite. I remember there was a farmer up here in Bucks County for a long time during some civil unrest in this country. He used to have a sign that said, attention protesters, did you know a pig can devour an entire human body in 24 hours? I always thought that was a cute sign, but a deterrent. More importantly, tell our listeners, because it's just not a matter of taking a good quality grain or a good quality beef or a good quality feed to raise Wagyu. It's an entire process from the genetics on down. So if you can kind of take a couple minutes and explain that process.
Sure. So, a typical Angus, typical meat that you would find in any market here is generally between 18 and 20 months old. They've reached their full maturity. They've reached their full potential in a lot of senses. Anything more than that sort of just adds to cost. So that is generally the process for regular beef that you'll find. Wagyu, on the other hand, it's a true breed. It's a completely separate breed, like a Labrador versus a Husky. They are the same animal, but very different breeds, and because of that, have very different characteristics. That intermuscular fat that Wagyu is absolutely and rightfully known for doesn't even start to develop until they're over 2 years old. So you actually have to take these animals through to at least 30 months, sometimes into 36 months. So it's a much less efficient animal as far as just time on the ground, but it yields a totally different flavor profile, leaves a higher quality meat in most cases. They're also a generally smaller framed animal, so you do lose some of the efficiency that we have sort of developed over generations of breeding cows in America. And because of that, there is a lot of process we go through to intermix breeds. So there is a difference between a full-blood Wagyu and what we actually have sort of toyed with on our farm, with mixing them with Holsteins and also with other breeds of Angus to sort of increase that efficiency without losing all the amazing genetic marbling that comes with the breed. So that's been our primary focus, is really just how to get the most out of the breed while mixing it with some of our more traditional genetics that are readily available. But there really is no substitute for a full-blood Wagyu when it hits your plate. The fat is a very, very different content, very different kind of mouthfeel, almost velvetier, and smoother. So it is difficult to get away from, but we're having fun trying.
You are absolutely right. There is nothing better than just a 100% pure Wagyu. It's just an incredible thing. It melts in your mouth. It's kind of like eating butter that tastes like great beef. I mean, it's, just a wonderful process. Now, you come from real estate. I don't know what your partner was into. Uh, you're really diving deep into, breeding and genetics. Do you have a farmer that you work with, or where's that coming from? I mean, you're really getting into some complicated areas there.
Eugene, you can get a master's degree in anything in 2 years. So,
Well, that is very true. Yes.
So, thankfully, for about 18 months, there wasn't a whole lot going on in real estate. I did have 2 kids in the meantime, but other than that, I was sort of left to my own devices to keep myself occupied. And it was a lot of digging into, genetics and cows and sort of all the best practices you can get away with on raising cows, how to actually do things efficiently on smaller parcels of land, because Newtown, Bucks County doesn't have, well, it has amazing tracts of land, but I can't afford those. So we had to stick with a pretty small parcel just to keep things efficient, and really started reaching out to as many folks as I could talk to pick their brains, and the amount of, generational knowledge that you can get from people. It was very refreshing, actually, coming from real estate, coming from commercial real estate in particular, which, everybody's sort of, I'll call it a full contact sport. Beef and beer, everybody loves each other, and they're happy to talk about it. They're happy to share, right down to, sharing what's in their wallet. They'll give you everything you need to sort of run and get in your own trouble. So it's been awesome as far as a community to get engaged with and be a part of now.
Can I jump in, because obviously, like, you utilize your spent grains to feed the cows. And Gene brought up a valid question, which is, do other breweries work with you in order to continue that process, and continue with the sustainability? But what I'm wondering is, in the reverse side, because you have farm and probably have built rapport with other farm owners, are there any ingredients that you utilize or incorporate or even grow to create your beers?
I will say that as much as I have learned about farming and agriculture, there are specialties in the world, and I try to stick to my own lane. The amount of grain that you would need to raise to even brew one batch of our beer is pretty staggering. So, again, limited land resources have sort of just allowed us to focus in one particular area. But there are farmers out there, and some guys in New Jersey, Screaming Eagle, Screaming Hill. They literally everything, that they make comes from their farm, which is pretty staggering when you think about just how farm fresh that is. They literally make a tomato beer because I think they needed to figure out how to get rid of a lot of them. It is cool to see how much the focus is on that. It sort of seems crazy when you say I need to buy my barley to make beer in Pennsylvania from Wisconsin, when there's a guy that's growing it down in Delaware. So we have tried to focus a lot on purchasing as much goods as we can locally, but there are limitations.
I can see why there would be limitations. Now let's just switch gears and go right into your brewery, because one of your first beers was your partner's idea when he was brewing it in his Broad Street apartment. So is that your most popular beer?
So 201 North, it's named after the address of his apartment. It's a Belgian wit style beer, and I can tell you it tastes a lot different than the first batch he made. But It is it's one of sort of our flagships. I would say it's up there with one of our most popular. It is a style that obviously is very floral, very rich in flavor, and we have most of our beers are sort of designed to be highly drinkable, but they're in just about every style you can find. So, our New England IPAs, our American light lagers, our Mexican lager, all of those sort of compete with each other. There isn't really a standout, but 201 North definitely holds its own in a style. Very similar, sort of a takeoff you could find. I'd convert somebody easily if they said they're a Blue Moon drinker. I can always steal that person right into our fray.
Well, you can steal me. I'm a Blue Moon drinker.
Perfect. There we go.
But I also love my stouts too, which I know we're in stout season. So
It's always stout season. I mean, I can't tell you that I've ever not wanted a Guinness. So, it's not, and depending on how you make the styles, it really can be an all season beer, but don't be afraid of stouts in the summertime,
oh no, I'm definitely not afraid of stouts in the summertime because as I said, I'm a stout girl. So I have no shame in my game. But given the season, I know that, stews are a big thing, and what goes better than beef and beer? I like making stews, like a nice beef stew with touch it with tap it with some stout. So do you have anything going on with that inside your brewery?
Our stout is called a Good Day Philly. 4.5. It's American dry style stout. It's a very tasty addition. I've also used it for beer battered. When you do sort of like any kind of little stout, and I think the last time I used it was for fish and chips. So we do obviously try to pour as much beer into everything we can. So I'm right there with you. But that has led me to actually change around my ideas for maybe our Thanksgiving menu a little bit. So you can. I'm excited to not include turkey. That's a hell of an idea. We'll do a
Well, you're
Guinness meat stew.
welcome. You're very welcome for that. But in the last minute or so that we have for you, I know that you also, with your beef company, your Jericho Mountain Beef Company, you offer select cuts of beef, and you can also customize how you want them to be butchered. So let our listeners know where to find you online, how to do that, and where to find your brewery online.
Sure. JerichoMountainFarms.com is our meat website. You can order online. We either deliver direct to your front door, or we've shipped to 38 states. We ship to Texas almost once a week, which is amazing to me. But we do deliver straight to your front door. You can select from our echelon, or there's an option to just send us a note, and we will put together whatever special order you're looking for. Broad Street Brewing Company is located in Bristol, Pennsylvania. So we're right off of 95, very easy to get to. We're open 5 days a week, and we have all sorts of fun events on any given day. There's trivia and all sorts of things to keep people busy, other than just drinking some tasty beers.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Food Farms and Ed. And I would love to continue this conversation on another segment, just because you have so much to unload. So,
Be happy to join you guys anytime.
all right. Thank you.
Have a good day, guys. Thanks for the chance.
Thank you.
And we will be right back after this short break. Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. And I am very excited because it's one of my favorite things to eat when I have a sweet craving. I want to introduce you to Ashley Naftali, who is the owner of Kindness Cookies. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs.
Thanks for having me.
Ashley, welcome. The
Thank
name
you.
of your company and so much of what you preach, is what the world really needs right now, so much more of. But, I laugh when I think about you. You are original New Yorker, and you formed a company called Kindness Cookies, a city that is not notoriously known for its kindness. That people say they walk right by you, nobody makes eye contact, nobody smiles. And here you come and you're entering the world and every day bringing more kindness and just smiles everywhere you go. And you're doing it in the form of cookies and you're doing it out of, the Philadelphia market. But originally you began this whole endeavor, back in 2017, in North Jersey, in Hoboken, right outside the city. So tell our listeners how you came from New York City to, making kindness cookies and that whole process of just wanting to make people smile and meet people.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Michigan and I moved to New York City for school. I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology right in New York City, and I moved from New York City to Hoboken. Didn't know anyone, um, so I started passing out cookies as a way to make friends, and I was passing them out at the gym of all places. So not ideally the best place to pass out cookies, but I at the time I was thinking about, everyone's going through something. I was going to the gym at 5 in the morning and before everyone goes on their daily commutes. And, if I could bring a smile to someone's face through cookies, maybe I can make their day a little bit brighter.
And it obviously was very successful. I love that, to strangers, and it just grew and grew and grew. And the humor of that, you were handing out cookies at the gym, and people were
Yeah.
obviously grabbing them left and right and taking them. So as they're leaving the gym that morning, they're probably offsetting the good, but they were doing it in such a delicious and kind way. You don't have any background in food production. You obviously went to school at FIT. You're not a chef. What got you started in, that crave of that love of baking cookies? Where does that come from?
Well, growing up, my mom and I and my sister, we would all make these little chocolate pretzel treats around the holidays and, for right before winter break, for Valentine's Day, whatever it was. And we'd bag them up and we'd spend hours making them and then we would just pass them out to people. So in a similar way, that I really found that love and joy of making people happy through food. So that's what really hooked me, making people feel that joy and bringing people together.
Well, and in a way that only really a cookie can too. Just such a simple gesture and giving people things like that. I understand that. My wife bakes tremendous amounts of Christmas cookies. Is already now starting to do that. Well, I let me retract that. She's starting to make the Christmas treats for the dogs because she treats for the dogs. And I came down this morning to a kitchen filled with little Christmas cutout dog treats that she's making now, but it really does make you smile and feel good to do that. And then on the other end, to see people just light up and things like that. But
Yeah,
your
exactly.
has grown so much, beyond what you have started out to do and beyond what you were doing in the kitchen with mom and sis. Um, you know, what's that transition been like? How did you go from, handing out cookies to the gym to, you know, shipping everywhere in the country, everywhere in the world, and having a production bakery?
Well, it's just me. I call myself the chief kindness officer or the founder or whatever, all the hats I wear. So it's definitely been a slow growth because I'm doing it all myself, but it's been very rewarding, very challenging, but at the end of the day, it's just I couldn't be happier doing what I do.
Well, obviously, you have to pour a lot of love into it, and it really has to be a 24/7, hour job to be producing the amount of cookies that you're producing now and doing that. But one of the other things that you do is you're really getting out there and spreading the word about kindness, and you're doing it through donations and merchandise and everything like that. So let our listeners know a little bit about what your mission statement is from that perspective, and really what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so from the beginning where I was passing out cookies to make friends and to make people's days brighter, now still that same sort of motto, but our main goal is that every month we have a different charity of the month. We sort of adopt a charity, if you will, and we donate a portion of the proceeds from the flavor of the month. And every single month we have a different flavor of the month and a different charity of the month that we donate to. So it's fun to not only think of new flavors, but also be able to impact the communities that are affected by these different charities.
And how do you are the charities local to you, or are they national, or are they just small, community based charities, or where are you pulling them from?
Yeah, every month it's different. We've done large organizations like Movember or Crisis Text Line, and then we've done some smaller ones that for the month of December, it's the Philadelphia Autism Foundation, or sorry, the Eagles Autism Foundation. So that's more on the local level. But every month it's something new. We've done Philadelphia Blind Hockey, which was an awesome organization to work with. And yeah, every month it's just something new.
And I'm sure that it's just an overwhelming response with that. And obviously, everybody that's involved in the charity gets involved in buying them and all. And, I know that you have a background in public relations and marketing, and you were able to pull that in to come up with this concept. And, it's something that in the restaurant hospitality industry, we do so often. In my particular situation, we have dine and donate nights with charities and try to give back to the community that way, but also find new members. I'm sure that your business has been growing exponentially because of this. So, are there some plans in the near future to expand and grow your facility a little bit and grow your ability?
Yeah, right now it's all home based. So no overhead, which has been great. I would love to someday have a brick and mortar. Someday would love to have a food truck. Right now, just focusing on expanding the reach of cookies and trying to be a household name when it comes to gifts and cookies and thinking about other people. So we'll see. I mean, I'm just trying to put in the work, and we'll see what happens.
So, I'm curious because you are it. You are the chief cook and bottle washer. You are the marketing person. You are everything there. You know, Tell our listeners what Ashley's day looks like, because you have a variety of flavors you produce. You have so much going into that. I mean, how many hours a day must you spend it with a love of cookies?
Oh man, I it can range anywhere from 8 to 14 hours a day. Sometimes it's all nighters. We're getting into the busy season with the holidays, so it really just depends on the day, how many orders we're getting. But everything is made upon ordering. So if someone were to place an order today, I'm not pulling things from the freezer or things that are already baked. Everything is prepared fresh, baked, and then sent out or delivered locally. So nothing's been sitting, all fresh.
Absolutely fabulous, and that makes such a difference. When they arrive and they're just in peak condition and doing things like that. So, what are the flavors that you're bringing on for the holidays here, and what are you going to be featuring?
Yeah, so we have our slam dunk flavor, which is our take on Dunkaroos, and it has vanilla frosting in the middle, rolled in sprinkles, and topped with Teddy Grahams. So that's on our permanent menu. And then for the holidays, we do a Christmas and a Hanukkah variation, depending on the color of sprinkles. And then for December, for our flavor of the month, it's our Tis the Season flavor. So it has marshmallow fluff, chocolate chips, mini marshmallows, and peppermint Hershey Kisses on top. So it's a really fun, festive, warm and cozy type of flavor that we'll have starting now and through the month of December.
See, when I was looking through some of your flavors for cookies, as somebody who is a chef and a brewer and very into wines, one of the things that I do a lot and people think is kind of strange, especially with beer. I do a lot during Girl Scout cookie season and such, beer pairings with different cookies. And when
Hmm.
I started looking at your cookies, the flavor profiles were so intense. I'm like, these would be so amazing to pair with beer.
Hmm.
There's so many different flavors going on in each cookie, and whether you want to, you know, go with the sugar and the marshmallow fluff, or you want to just cut some of the richness of the butter, or however you want to do that. There's so many great flavor profiles going on. And one of the other things I noticed as a baker is that your cookies really layer in the flavors. So
Hmm.
how do you decide on which recipe you're going to use and the recipe development? I mean, I'm assuming that what you're doing now is not all the same cookies that you were baking when you were growing up.
Right, right. It's been a long, testing with different recipes and things like that. And I feel like we've got it pretty down now. So when it comes to new flavors, a lot of the time I'm walking through Wegmans and, going down the candy aisle, the chip aisle, cereal aisle, and trying to brainstorm different flavor combinations and something that feels a little nostalgic or feels out of the box, and thinking about how could I incorporate this into a new flavor for the flavor of the month, or even potentially a permanent flavor option.
So, how many permanent flavor options do you have now on your menu list?
We have, I believe it is 10 or 11.
Fabulous. And obviously, coming into the best time of year for the holiday season when everybody is baking cookies, but also Thanksgiving is another one that everybody wants things like that. And then coming in, I'm sure you're going to be very busy for Valentine's Day and everything like that. So, are you looking to also do some outreach? Like again, I said to you right off the bat, I can see featuring your cookies, um, for a tasting at the you know cookie and beer, cookie and wine. Are you looking to also promote and advertise it, and just introduce people to you know what what you're producing? And I can't emphasize enough, is an entirely different level of cookie. It's not just a chocolate chip cookie. It's not just a
Hmm.
sugar cookie. You know, like what's the plans to really get the word out there?
We have, I say we, it's just me, but me in the business, I sort of associate it as a we, but right now we're in Manny's Deli Stop in Willow Grove. We're at an ice cream spot, Weldon Fountain in Glenside. We're at Ambler Flower Shop, and really trying to grow that network, whether it's wholesale accounts or we do lots of weddings, wedding favors. We've done charity events and really just everything in between. I would love to, collaborate with as many people as possible, as many small businesses as possible, because I think that's a really great way to grow the business and, expand your reach. We're also at Vonsey Brewery in Norristown a lot of the time. We do pop-ups there every now and again. So really we want to be everywhere and anywhere that we can possibly be to really grow the business.
Well, trust me, I'm in the beginning stages of planning a very large beer festival for March of next year. I will be reaching out because I actually think you would be a perfect fit at the beer festival as well to have there. And I will certainly be getting the word out to as many other people out there as possible, because just looking through your website and looking at different flavors and all, I was really blown away. And I do love the mission. Spreading kindness and smiles is so important in this day and age, especially with everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I salute you for that one. It's just a very unique start, and an incredible business model that I think is going to take off, and one day we're going to be reading about you in one of the food journals or in one of the business journals about your business plan, because it's really there. So for
Thank
people who
you.
want to order cookies right now this time of year, are you anticipating a very large holiday rush? People are going to have to order. Will you be limiting the amount of orders you take? What's your advice for people who are going to want to get your products now that they hear you on the radio?
Yeah, see, everyone can order on shopkindnesscookies.com, and cookies is spelled with a K. And we have pre-orders available for Hanukkah, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve right now. We'll be launching our pre-orders for Valentine's Day sometime in December. But if you don't want to wait for a holiday or any sort of special occasion, you just want to try us, you can order on the website and get your cookies sent ASAP as well. We ship nationwide. We do local delivery as well in a majority of Montgomery and Bucks County. So you'll see me pulling up in my pink Honda Civic and delivering your cookies to your front door. So you can get cookies in the mail, or I'll deliver them for you.
That alone, I love when you say that, because you make it seem so, well, I just deliver your cookies, and being in this industry and having done large, deliveries, just the logistics to go into that, the amount of time you have to sit down at the app and plug in your day and where you're going and what makes sense, is mind boggling. And, our listeners don't have the ability to, see you on the Zoom right now. So when I see this, and you just constantly talk about it with a smile and a love, it's just very heartwarming. I mean, this is really a career based on your passion and heart and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So So as we talk about, what's next for you, we have about 30 seconds. If you want to, tell our listeners as well on social media if they can find out more, and then one quick sentence about you know why they should be buying cookies from you.
All right. Well, we're going to be at Vonsey Brewery this Wednesday in Norristown, selling cookies on site. You can buy cookies on our website at shopkindnesscookies.com. You can find us on Instagram and all social media platforms at Kindness Cookies, cookie spelled with a K. And you should try us because we make delicious, one of a kind cookies that'll just tickle the nostalgic feeling when you take your first bite. So I highly recommend.
I love that, right off the cup, and you really just hit that right home. It has been a genuine pleasure talking to you, and I can't emphasize enough, the wonderful quality of cookies, but also the mission that you're doing and what you're trying to do out there. Ashley, thank you so much.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you at a pop up, or having you out at an event.
Sounds great. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Ashley. And we will be right back after this short break. Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. And I'm very, very excited because we have somebody who has a lot of flavor who is going to come on the show. He is the owner of Jumbo Cafe and Jumbo Bobcat Bite, which is located in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Ahmed Obo, welcome to the show.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So you have quite the history. I was researching you like I do with most of our guests, and
Okay.
you're obviously like there's a strong accent, so you're not originally from the United States. But let our listeners know your story, like how you came to this country, how you came to becoming a chef, and owning Jumbo Cafe and Jumbo
Jumbo
Bobcat
Baptist,
Bite.
right? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm ready to share my story. Uh, so you heard my name is Ahmed Obo, original from the island of the coast of Kenya. So that's the original. Now I've been in the US for 28 years.
It's a long
And
time.
a long time. I did not plan to stay here this long. So as the story goes, I was just supposed to be here for 6 months. And then here I am.
So, okay, so I know there was a girl that was involved with bringing you here, but but I feel like you kind of graze over that a little bit. But you have worked in several different kitchens, but you've also gained the attention of a lot of um a lot of publications have written about you. You've been on what is it? Diners, drive-ins,
Yeah,
and dives a couple of times, not just once. You've been on there a couple of times. And
yeah,
yeah, and I've seen Eater come out
uh,
and video record you. So with all of that attention, have you kind of influenced your area and people have, kind of have you increased in your visitation? Like, have you had more people come out to you?
yes, that has happened. As again, when I came here, I did not, well, take it back. And I did not plan to come here to open a restaurant, out to open a restaurant. So I came here to work, so I can help my family, my people back home, and that's what I did. So I work hard, different restaurants. And then as the time goes on, I keep, developing the skill, like the leadership kind of a deal. And then again, just I see myself in the journey of growing. So that's where I went on and opened Jumbo Cafe. And as the Jumbo Cafe came into place, I mean, again, I took the risk. I don't know. My cuisine is African and Caribbean. Some things I learned here, things I learned back home. Cooking with my mom. My original job that I had before I moved here, I used to go sailing, take people out fishing, snorkeling. So cooking on the shores. Like on the beach kind of a deal, cooking on the sailboat kind of a deal. And
Yeah.
then when I came to New Mexico, to US, fortunately I landed right into the kitchen.
Which, yeah,
So
which is a huge fortune for all of us because we get to taste what you cook.
yes, yes, and that shows me, as you said, with all these the social media and the shows that what I have created, people like it and enjoy it, and they come. So you asked me the question if people see, yeah, people shows up here to Jambo, and the people from all over. So, and when they come to Santa Fe, they see me somewhere. As you said, they see me with the Guy Fieri, the Eater, and other sites. So they're like, yeah, this is a place to go. And I guess the reviews from people, they've been, enjoying what I've come out with. So
Now, I know obviously there's going to be a lot of Southwestern and Spanish-based cuisines that are in your area, considering its location. But you were the first of your kind, like of cuisine offered in your area. So I
mhm.
know around here we have in Philadelphia, we have a huge selection of different cuisines and culinary experiences. And,
Mhm.
I grew up tasting and developing a palate for just about anything you could think of. Um,
Nice.
and it's down the line encouraged and influenced my desire to try new things to the degree that things that most people would shy away from, I dive in. I'm like, sure, I'll try
Mhm.
that. That very strange item.
Correct.
So have you noticed that, because I feel like you also create dry spices and sauces and chutneys, and you sell those in addition to
Yeah.
cooking with them, you sell them inside of your business as well. Have you
Yeah.
seen people come in and like and be more encouraged to try new things?
Yeah, so interesting what you say. The way you are able to go and try it out, and people stay away from it, and all that is happening. People comes and they say, "Yeah, we want to try this place." So they want to push their power. Of course, they try the New Mexican, they try the other cuisine, and this is one they have the opportunity. So when they find me, they wanted to try. So and so once they try, and then I offer those, I have a rack with all those, spices, and I can see they get so excited. It's like, yes, I wanna try this at home. So because a lot of people they are not from here, in South Africa we get a lot of tourists, and they ready to go and experience what I have created. They all come to me. It's like, can we have a jumbo? I mean, I'm sure I meet people from Philadelphia, that Texas and different states. And of course, they always invite me to go and open Jumbo. For unfortunately, it's like, nope, Jumbo is right here. Of course, a restaurant is not easy to operate a kind of a deal. Yes, I see a lot of people comes, and then some days I see one person carry 2, 3 spices, and then also I have a cookbook that has all the most of the recipe. People have appreciated that I created a cookbook. It's take it home. Some people have come back and say how amazing it is, easy to use it. And yeah, so it's been a beautiful journey. It makes me happy to see that people adore what I've created. And that is what when I left, the restaurant before Jambo, it's like I wanna bring my cuisine to share with the community like Santa Fe. And I'm happy now it's not only Santa Fe, it's worldwide. Whoever come to visit us, they get a chance to come and join me and enjoy it.
Now I know also like in America we're very heavy on like beef and pork and whatnot, and lighter on goat, which I feel like in an African and Kenya and whatnot where you're from, which is I believe Lamu.
Well, yes, Lamu.
Lamu. um, that your cuisines are more based on seafood because of, what's around you and, the
Correct.
availability of fresh seafood at that. Um,
Correct.
so have you noticed, an uptick on people who are like went from like your regulars. So somebody who
Yeah.
regularly, comes in where they're like, okay, yes, I usually get the chicken, with whatever sauce or however present it. But have you seen them switching gears and, having something that's created with say shrimp? Because I think that
The
you
seafood and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm sure you have seen my menu. So and which I'm very happy with it because it covers all people desire. Okay, so we have the seafood, which have the pilipili, that is original from Lamu, has the coconut and the spicy. The pilipili is meaning red chili, so the combination of the blend of the other spices. And then from there, I see people, once they order that one, they're like, wow, this is amazing and beautiful. When they switch, and then also we have the banana, banana leaves wrap mahi mahi. That also is kind of like, so I changed some things, also with a lot of the flavor, mango and the tamarind and some curry sauce. And then you talk about the beef and the goat. Um, Going back to the goat, very surprised that people are really up for it, because when I open some friends like, you putting goat on the menu, who's gonna eat the goat? So like, well, it's a traditional African, it has to be there. Otherwise, people's like, what are you doing? Where's the goat? And so I added there, and then I'm gonna repeat myself. I'm very surprised that it became very one of the popular dish. And then again, else beef. So the beef, we know as here in America, you guys eat, eat steak and roast beef kind of. That's why I made it simple. Where we do cook as we call it mishkik, which is a kebab. So here you guys call it, beef, the kebab, or it can be chicken kebab. So I do it that way, marinated with some spices, and I made it with a nice sauce. Well, again, guess what? It's very popular, and the people eating, they are just again blown away with how it comes out. So pretty much, again, chicken, and there's a salad, so all those things. And people are like, wow, I can, if I don't eat, I don't want a chicken, I want a this. I'm always I can I have I have I have all, I feel like I have everything for everybody in my menu.
Yeah. Now, I want to hearken to your culture because obviously, like sitting down and dining with family and friends, that's in every culture. I think aside from the United States, where we're just like, oh, we're grab and go. I feel like food and eating is such an integral part to, being a community and being communing with your friends and family. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah. And so are there any traditions that are, something that we as Americans wouldn't necessarily know or indulge in? I mean, I know one, which is we eat with forks, and I believe that you use
Yeah,
kanji.
I I know that's coming. Well, as you say, you are bringing that up. So tradition, especially in the east part of Kenya or East Africa and the coastal, our custom it is to eat by hands. And again, growing up, we'll have a plate where we'll have a rice, okay, and then the stew that would be chicken or beef or stew, especially from the island, there'll be a lot of seafood stew kind of a deal, and we put it right in the middle, and then as the siblings will be all in each other's, around it. So now depends, of course, that will be only one meal at the time, and so it depends how fast you eat and how, because that would be the meal. And so you will see one side is bigger, the mountain, it's like almost like a mountain kind of a deal. So you're trying to get to the other side. Same time, of course, a mom, most of the mom will be the one watching you to be fair with your siblings, kind of a deal. So that pretty much bring us closer and learn us how to share, kind of a deal. So there's a lot of lesson too by eating the food, and also we feel like that's how they taught us to eat by hand, connected, to the food, and then we're going deep, like how connect, and the food is tastes a lot better. And so yeah, it's the same tradition again. Thanksgiving coming up, it brings all the families together to do the food. Of course, you guys eating differently, and we eat the same way, but the same idea. Food brings people together, and then sometime it will be music. Some events has to have food. So music and food all goes
Together.
hand in hand, kind of a deal
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
And to just so you know, I have actually, because I was I had dated somebody who was Ethiopian, and um his whole
Nice.
his whole entire family, the first time I sat down to eat with them, they showed me how to eat with my hands. And it was really funny because it was like me, and then I think there was about 16 of his family members sitting around the table, and I go to like try eating for the first time after they showed me. I look up
Yeah.
and they're all staring at me like,
Yeah.
like, is she gonna be able to do it?
Yeah, it's like that's gonna make it to the mouth or not,
Yeah.
right?
And I was good. I was spot on. It was the first time that I haven't spilled something on top of me, but but it was,
Oh,
it's an engaging experience to sit around and like
yes.
eat with your hands. Um,
Yeah, yeah, no, that's, I mean, as you say, in Ethiopian, they have the injera, and for us Kenyan, we have chapati, which is the roti, because of the
Hmm.
Indian influence that, that. And then we have ugali, that's the cornmeal that, is get nice and thick. So you dip into the stew, or you make it like a little ball, you dig it in, and then of course that hold it straight into your mouth. So the whole experience with the food with your hand is amazing. I mean, I say there's nothing wrong eating with a forks or a spoon, but I'm just saying how, how we, different
Yeah,
cultures have their own way. So it's so good.
it is.
So
It is very good. Now, speaking
yeah,
of culture and community, I saw that you founded not only had you give back to your community in whatever ways that you possibly can, you
yes.
also founded a organization in Kenya.
Uh-huh.
So what was that, and
Oh,
how does it benefit everyone?
well, so how is that? So the organization that I created, we call it the Jumbo Kids Foundation. So we created here in Santa Fe, part of the restaurant that comes into the place. Um, growing up on the island, I mean, until today, we're still struggling with healthcare issues, I mean, the government is there, they're doing their best again, but it's not enough. So, um, I guess something that I was aware of, uh, you know, growing up, some issues, was going on, medical kind of a deal. And when I came here, there was things still going on. So where I'm sending I said, I mean, I came here, a whole idea for me to come to US, it was that I can help my family, my siblings for them to go to school and anything else, continue their life. So when the restaurant is about to come and place. It was seriously like a recording playing what happened. Why am I doing this restaurant? Am I chosen, to do this? What is this message? So I practice like, I came here for that mission and things was happening. I had a cousin who got really sick and then passed away right away from just asthma kind of a deal. My kids here, they have asthma and they're okay. They can barely tell if they are sick, they have asthma. And then, some events happen. And for me, it's like, okay, I gotta remember why I came here. And I feel like a fortune that I can give it back to my community. And the clinic was the one that keep coming up to go that route to open the clinic. So as it seemed like it's supposed to happen, so I went for it and I opened, the clinic, and it has helped a lot of people back in the island. So I mean, the idea was just for the kids, but of course, mom that comes in from small illness, from diarrhea, which is very important, where they can go to the hospital right away, and on kind of a deal. So that's how I jump into give it back to my community and medical. I mean, I'm not in the medical field, but that's what I went for.
Yes. Now, we unfortunately are running out of time. So how can people find you to visit your Jumbo Cafe or the Jumbo Bobcat Bite? And how can people, donate or help out with the Jumbo Kid Clinic?
Mm. So first, when you go to the website, we have a jumbocafe.net. That one will take you to Santa Fe, where we have all the information, the address. So I'm here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The address is at 2010 Cerrillos Road. And then, of course, Jumbo Bobcat is just opened about 8 months ago. When you hear, you can look it up. You will find us. And then to donate, if you go to the Jumbo Cafe, there is a link. You can contribute whatever you want, $1, $2, 100, whatever you can. All goes a long way. And when you make a trip to Santa Fe to come out, please come and visit. Most of the time I'm around. Sometimes I'm not. I'm one of the location. I'll take a little break. but come and visit us here. We'd love to host you and enjoy the delicious meal here in Santa Fe.
All right. Thank you so, so much for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs, Ahmed. And hopefully I will be able to get out to see you.
Yes, please do. And I'm looking forward to meet you in person. And thank you so much for having me in your show.
No
Blessings.
problem. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
you're
much.
welcome. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Thank you.